welcome to full match commentary of Everton versus Crystal Palace. Let's give you the two lineups in a minute or two. We're just having a look at one or two other bits and pieces there, but it's Everton against Crystal Palace, our first live commentary of the weekend. It's another Friday night. Remember the last time we did a Friday night game, we saw one of the best goals of the weekend. So let's have a look at the two teams. So it's Everton against Palace tonight, not as high profile as the Chelsea-Liverpool clash of a couple of weeks ago, but an opportunity to check out two teams that we've not covered before this season so far. Everton, of course, under Ronald Koeman having a very good start. They had a bit of a blip against Bournemouth last week, but are back in the groove once again. And it's also a battle with, and also Crystal Palace, who has spent heavily on the likes of Andros Townsend, James Tompkins, and one or two others as well during the window as well, to try and get up into those upper reaches of the Premier League. And there's an interesting subplot between two Belgian strikers. You've got Christian Benteke on the Crystal Palace side, former Liverpool player as well, which adds to the plot a little bit. And of course you have on the other side Romelu Lukaku, who in the last few weeks has started banging in goals for fun, like a 20-minute hat-trick the other night, or the other week against Sunderland. So let me give you the two teams for tonight then. Starting with Everton, we'll go through the lineups. It's Martin Stecklenburg in goal, then Seamus Coleman, Phil Jagielka, Ashley Williams and Brian Obriedo on the back. Cleverly, Barry, Gouet, Balassi and Barkley are the midfielders, and Romelu Lukaku is the man up top. On the bench for Everton, Joe Robles, Kevin Mraz, Aaron Lennon, Enner Valencia, Runes Mori, and two youngsters, Davis and Holgate, complete the subs bench. Now for Crystal Palace, Steve Mandanda, the former Marseille goalkeepers in goal. Ward, Tompkins, Delaney and Kelly are the back four. MacArthur, Ledley and Townsend are sort of a front Punchin and Wilfried Zaha, the midfield five, with Christian Benteke leading the line. So it's, as I say, it's a battle between two strikers. Everton in fact will go second with a win here tonight. So let's see what happens then as we get underway then. The game already up and running. And here we go then. Friday night football in the grandest of manners here at Goodison Park, a traditional football ground. And as an early cross comes in, Everton attacking the goal to our left. And that's the Park Road end. Here's Barkley, left-hand near side. Left-hand side, a little chip in there towards the penalty area. Good chest control there. And that shot came in. And it was knocked away. Good start. Palace in the all-yellow strip. Referee, in actual fact, is John Moss. And he is from Yorkshire. So the lineup says, there we are. Should be a good game. Yannick Bolasie, of course, a real threat for Everton, up against his former club. Here's Barry inside the centre circle, and a chance here now for Everton to really make themselves a real presence here this afternoon, or this evening rather. And if you want to comment on this game tonight, we are live. We're using the FIFA 16 backdrop because of the stadiums we use. Please let me know in the comments section, and remember, this is the first of two live commentaries this weekend, the second of which is on a Sunday afternoon, where Burnley take on Arsenal with a kickoff at 4:30. Alan Pardew, favourite for the England job, and I'm sure over the week, at some point during this evening, during this broadcast tonight, you'll probably want to hear my no-nonsense views on what's happened to big Sam Alladyce in the last few days, and the revelations that have cost him his job as England manager. But he's the new favourite, Alan Pardew, with the bookmakers. Arsene Wenger has also been heavily touted in the last few days or so. So it's going to be a real intriguing next couple of months to see who the next England manager is. But they've had the next four internationals. It's Gareth Southgate in charge of the team. As a run on the far side from Wilfred Zaha, or the near side, and Ashley Williams, who joined Everton from Swansea after 10 years good service at the club down in South Wales, setting for a throw, almost over with the Everton penalty area. Palace attacking the Gladys Street end in the first half here at Goodison Park. Eric Balassi, a big night for him, former Crystal Palace man of course, and he's had a good start to his Everton career. Palace take a throw very quickly now. Kelly, Joel Ward rather, gets the ball in, and it's nodded away, and it will be the first corner of the game for Crystal Palace. Nodded behind again by Ashley Williams this time. Did very well there, got to the byline, good crossing there, and nodded out for a corner. He's had a good start to his Everton career as well. 31 years old now, Ashley Williams. He's been around the block a long while. So it's Jason Puncheon with the corner. I hope Kevin's tuning into this as well. Kevin Benson, a Crystal Palace fan. And my predictions, I've gone for a 3-2 home window. That won't please Kevin too much, I'm sure, if he's listening at some point. I'm sure he'll hear that bit anyway with great interest. But I think Palace have been in tremendous form. Both teams coming off the back of some very good form. Everton in their last home game survived a really tough decision against Middlesbrough when Middlesbrough scored a goal which looked very much illegal. Negredo certainly bundling over Stecklenburg inside his 6-yard area, but the goal was controversially given by the referee. But Everton came back to win by 3-1 and could have won it by more in truth. They were absolutely superb after recovering from that early setback. Crystal Palace have certainly won their last two, including a tremendous fight back at Sunderland last week when they were 2 goals down and then came back to win 3-2 away from home. And that's really put Sunderland under a lot of pressure as they have another home match tomorrow, and the pressure's certainly on David Moyes, who is a former Evertonian of course, as Everton break now inside the penalty area, and it's out I think for a corner to Everton, their first of the evening. Seamus Coleman making some good bursts down the right hand side, and I think he'll be a real threat for Crystal Palace this evening. Goodison Park, one of the traditional football grounds in England, and it's one of those grounds that really does shake when the atmosphere is certainly building. Ross Barkley to take the corner from the far side. Here it comes, curled outwards towards Lukaku, and then headed back in there by Gareth Barry I think, and then it's smuggled out for another throw, this time for Everton. Coming up towards 5.5 minutes gone in the first half here. If you want to make a comment about the game, what happened with Sam Alladyce, or you want to ask me about anything football wise of the last few days, feel free to drop me a line in the comment section. 0-0. Here's Balassi, near side. Tries to play a 1-2, but has to be held up again. Ross Barkley, Oviedo rather, once again. Wearing Ross Barkley's old shirt number, of course. Here is Barkley now, number 8. We're doing inside the Palace up. Chips it into the Palace penalty area. It comes back to Gai. Plays it in there towards Lukaku. Lukaku touches it back to Barry. Now Coleman on the far side. Coleman turns. Tries to get the cross in. It comes off Wilfred Zaha for another Everton corner. And a good first half here. Really developing here. I think this is going to be a real battle between two sides who are definitely in form. Everton having a rare blip last week at home away at Bournemouth as the corner comes in. Williams was right in there, and it will be another corner. Referee John Moss on the spot. Williams a little grimace there because he felt as the ball came in towards the penalty spot area. I think another Everton player was right in his way, but he did come off a Palace player last, so it will be another corner. I think it might have been Jagielka right in there, not sure. It's another corner from the near side this time, and Barkley again will send it in right-footed into towards the 6-yard area. Palace had picked it on, still not away yet, and it's going to be knocked away by Crystal Palace. But Balassi winning that back. Here's cleverly. Now Jagielka's got it to Barkley, out to the out of bounds. Barkley on the near side, rather. Barkley. And they're keeping the ball really well here. Here's Gareth Barry. Plays it out towards the left-hand side this time. Good football here. Everton keeping possession, I have to say, quite incredibly well here. 0-0, but I think this is going to be an interesting game. Matthews, one of our newest bowlers is on. He says good evening. Well, he says hi, but I'll say a very good evening to you wherever you are in the country, or if you're abroad. Good evening from wherever you are. Glad that you're joining us. As I say, you're welcome, like Matthew, to comment during the game. I will read the comments out. And he's a good old Manchester City supporter as well. Here's the crossing from Alladyce towards Lukaku at the back post, but he just couldn't grow enough, and the ball runs dead into touch for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. A good start here from Everton. Expected the home team to really make their mark. A lovely ball in there from Yan Kabai, just bisecting the whole Crystal Palace defence, and it just needed in fact it got a touch off a Palace player. The corner's coming already from the far side from Barkley, and it's been knocked away here, and a chance here for Zaha to break now for Crystal Palace. Well cut out again, this time by number 20 Oviedo up towards Gray on the far side, but he's been flagged offside by the linesman on the near side. And well, City drew 3-3 at Celtic. I have to say, I watched it on the television, Matthew, and I thought it was a very entertaining game. And I think Manchester City haven't been testing enough, I think, in the Premier League this season, and I think they missed De Bruyne a bit on Wednesday. But what you can't deny is, and I'm sure you must be proud of the fact, that City showed some very good fighting spirit. I mean, that was a tough old game up at Celtic in an hostile crowd, the 60,000 Bain Scots there, and you did well to get a point. You could have won the game in the last knock-ins, to be fair, but it was a terrific game of football, and it was end-to-end. It was almost played like a cup tie in the way it was meant to be, that one, and it's a shame I couldn't have commentated on it, but I was just too tired at the time to lend my voice to it. But we are back with the Premier League, and first half possession, I can tell you after 10 minutes, 75% for Everton, 25% for Crystal Palace. Here's Gareth Barry for Everton, playing it out towards the far side. Also in Europe this week, we were wins by Leicester, Tottenham and Arsenal, as well as that Manchester City draw. There was a draw for Southampton, Koeman's former club, last night, 0-0 against Appleby Shiva. And of course Manchester United's unconvincing victory at Old Trafford last night. And of course a quick word for the Irish side, Dundalk, who really upset a few odds there with their victory in Dublin last night. Well done to them. Steve Mandanda with a goal kick for Crystal Palace, 0-0 as we're coming towards the 11th minute of the match. And here they come now, Palace in the all yellow strip with a red band across the front. Long cross in there, but first real test there for the Everton defence so far. And here they come again, Palace, far side. I mean, a good first half this, and Everton have had much the better of things. Low cross in there, but a good defensive work again from Everton. Really, Jagielka and Williams, two experienced internationals, having to be on their medal here against a very exciting Palace attack. Up towards again Benteke, who's, as Kevin will probably say, my old friend from New Zealand, he'll say that he has been in magnificent form. But here's Barkley now on the counter-attack from Everton. 35 yards out, strikes the ball right-footed, but he strikes it in the Park Road end of the ground. In fact, the stand there now is named after the former manager Howard Kendall, who sadly passed away 18 months ago. One of the most successful managers in Everton's history, of course. Howard Kendall, he won 2 league championships, an FA Cup and the Cup Winners' Cup all in a 4-year spell between 1984 and 87. That was his first spell at the club. Of course, the last Everton manager before Kendall to win the championship was Harry Catterick back in 1970. And it's a great club with a great tradition here, Everton. They haven't won a major trophy since 1995 when they upset Manchester United in the FA Cup final. But they came so close to winning it under Moyes in 2009. They are very good. They have been a very good cup team in recent years, getting to semi-finals. Certainly last season they came within an ace of getting to the final, and that semi-final really cost Martinez's job, although the poor league form didn't help his cause. Away now for Everton, over towards halfway. Now a chance here for Williams to come forward, and here is a chance now for Cleverley, former England international, and Cleverley chips it in there. That's a good little ball in there, and that could be a penalty, but I think there's an offside flag in fact given, and it wouldn't have counted anyway. Oviedo making a tremendous burst, and yep, a couple of yards offside there as the ball was chipped into his path. Certainly was a foul there if it had been given against number 27 Damien Delaney, but the flag had saved his grace anyway, and referee was right on the spot. Matthew again comments he hopes Manchester City will win the Champions League. Well, they've got a chance. It depends on how good the squad is come January. I'm sure they'll qualify with no problems at all. I think it will be between them and Barcelona for the top two spots. I think they'll definitely finish top two, but with what order I'm not so sure. Depends how those next two games between them and Barcelona go. If City were to get 4 points from them, then you would say City would be in the driving seat. I think the first priority for City is to qualify, as that cross comes in from the near side by Barkley, and Steve Mandanda, the former Marseille goalkeeper, takes that with no great pressure whatsoever. In fact, there was nobody within a 5 or 10 metre radius of him. Coming up towards a quarter of an hour gone. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 0. It's the first time we've covered these two sides on the YouTube channel as a commentary game. And these Friday night games, certainly the last one, the Chelsea-Liverpool match, really lived up to all expectations, and there was some terrific goals scored in that one as Wilfried Zaha now comes forward for Palace. Low cross in there, but well held by Martin Stekelenburg, Dutch goalkeeper, formerly of Fulham and Ajax Amsterdam, of course. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. Was touted as a future successor to Edwin van der Sar when he hung up the gloves several years ago, the former Manchester United goalkeeper. Hasn't turned out the way he would have liked, Stekelenburg. Was in the bottom side that were relegated about 3 or 4 years back from the Premier League. Ball out on the far side. It'll be a throw to Crystal Palace. Again, as I said, just to remind you, just to remind you, ladies and folks, that Burnley against Arsenal will be our second live commentary of the weekend. 4:20 on Sunday afternoon with a kick-off at 4:30. Meanwhile, there's a free kick to Crystal Palace for a foul, and the culprit here is Brian Oviedo for a foul of a tug there on Wilfried Zaha, and John Moss takes action and gives the yellow card. And I'm not going to read that comment out. I don't want any swearing. We always get one person swearing and shouting. It's a family show, and your comment will be deleted at half time, because that, I'm afraid, is pathetic. If you don't like the stream, if you don't particularly like what I put out on YouTube, don't bother looking in on us. No one's asking you to do it or listen to the stream. I'm doing what I love doing. Anyway, free kick taken by Punchin into the penalty area, headed back, and it's out for a goal kick. In fact, if you make any more, Matthew, I wouldn't even bow to him. He's not worth the hassle. If he's sworn, anybody who's familiar with the rules know that I cannot. If you comment and you swear, then I'm afraid you get thrown off. I'm sorry, but you get thrown off for it, and I'm fed up. I do these streams, I give people a chance to participate in my broadcasts, and on every single game, I'm fed up of saying this until I'm blue in the face. And you will be blocked, and you are now. Well, anyway, he's been whoever the idiot was who was saying it. It was WI Vids who actually said the rude comment, for which I've deleted it now, and he won't be appearing on my channel again contributing. If he's going to swear, then I'm not going to have him. I'm not going to have him ruining it for everybody else. Just remember, it's only a minority. Anyway, back to the game. 18 minutes gone, and it's 0-0 between Everton and Crystal Palace. We are trying to be a family show, by the way. Here's cross Barkley in towards Lukaku. Lukaku has a shot low down, just to the right of the right of goal, and he shoots with his right foot. It was straight down Steve Mendander's throat, but Palace just losing it there for a second. Joe Ledley just losing it in his midway inside his own half, and it almost give Everton that opportunity really to strike a crucial blow in this first half. And just to remind everybody, please, if you're going to comment, keep the comments clean. I don't mind a little bit of constructive criticism if you want to ask me about the week's events concerning the Champions League or Sam Alladyce and what's been going on with the England manager. Who do you think will be the next England manager? I'd like to hear from you, but please do not swear, please do not insult people, and for God's sake, for God's sake, stop anybody who swears or says anything that's downgrading towards anybody else. You will be thrown off. Okay, you will be blocked, and you will not appear, or you will not be barred. You'll be barred from making any comments on this particular YouTube channel. We're trying to keep this stream as clean as possible. I will not read out anything that comes up there that's rude or distasteful. Sorry, but that's how I am. These streams are meant for all the family, mums, dads, young lads who may be interested in the game, who don't have a Sky subscription. And if you're wondering why I'm doing audio commentaries, by the way, I won't want to show any live action on my YouTube channels. I've got a good standing with YouTube, and I don't want to risk that on me showing live action on a screen of a live match. Otherwise, the Premier League could do me for copyright. That's why I do audio streams. And here come Crystal Palace, but in comes Oviedo, who's on a yellow card, of course. 0-0. And I have to say, it's been a first half that's been in the main dominated a lot by Everton. Of course, I'm sure everybody will want to ask me about Sam Alladyce and what I think of what happened. Well, I'll tell you exactly what happened when we towards the back end of half time, because I'll probably what I'll do is take a 5-minute break and then come back and talking more in depth about Sam Alladyce before the second half. And so anybody who does ask me about Sam Alladyce, I will answer that question in the last 5 minutes of the half-time interval. And we're also leaving. We won't be getting any instant reaction from many managers tonight, because it's just the street going to be finished for about 10 o'clock tonight. Here come Crystal Palace on the far side, ball in towards the penalty area. It'll come for Zaha now, just to the right of goal, inside the area. He almost takes a tumble but keeps his feet remarkably well. He's got great balance roll through Zaha, but he was sounded out of it by two blue shirts, and Oviedo can hook that down the left hand side there for Everton. Matthew said, do you watch football games? Oh, I love watching football games. I always try and, if I get the opportunity and I've got a few quid, I've just got to break off for a second, because there will look to be there's a free kick situation. I'll come back to that question in a minute, Matthew. We've got a free kick to Crystal Palace midway inside. Well, midway through the first half anyway. It was a foul there on the edge of the D. Looked a little bit soft. It was Townsend who went down there. But it's a free kick at a very promising position. And it's about 20 to 25 yards out. It's almost dead central, to be fair. And Jason Punchin is going to be the man up behind this one. So too is Townsend. Will it be the left foot of Townsend? It looks as if it's going to be Townsend with the left foot here. He's got a good free kick on him. We've seen him do it so many times for Tottenham, and then more recently for his previous club, Newcastle. John Moss has got the wall 10 yards exactly back. 2-4-5 in the wall. Referee blows his whistle. Left foot. Townsend into the wall. Townsend again tries the shot, and then Seamus Coleman came out with a brave block. Still Palace have possession. Long ball played into the penalty area. And Jagielka winning the header now. And here's a chance now for a break on here with Leonard Balassi. And the former Palace man is running at the defence. It's Balassi to Lukaku. Lukaku now inside the penalty area. Balassi's just drifted to the left a little bit. Left of the 6-yard box he is. Faced by 3 Palace defenders. He's got Oviedo up in support. On the left hand side. Crossing from the left towards the back post. And Barkley, I don't think, kept that in. And it's gone for a goal kick for Crystal Palace. So a good little bit of attacking there. Just to go back to Matthew's little question a few moments ago. Do I watch football games? I do watch them live occasionally. When I've got money and got time, obviously I own... obviously I've got responsibilities and all that type of thing. I have to pay bills and all that mumbo jumbo. It's not easy when you're living on your own most of the time, but well, I do live with my brother, with a younger brother, but it's difficult when you're obviously trying to make your way in life and stuff. But when we get the chance, we always go down to Turf Moor and always enjoy a Burnley game. We went to the last live game I went to was actually on opening day when Burnley took on Swansea, and it was a it ended disappointingly really, but it was a great experience to enjoy top flight football again after 12 months of not having it. And of course we'll be featuring Burnley live on Sunday afternoon as Wars sings another ball in from the right hand side, well controlled by Benteke, but I think he controlled it with his hand, or there was a bit of pushing and shoving inside the box. Either way, it's a free kick to Everton with 25 minutes of the first half gone. 20 minutes of the first half remaining. Yeah, there might have been a little slight elbow into the back of Jagielka. It looks a little bit soft when you look at it on replay, but the referee was Johnny on the spot, and he decided that Benteke was backing in a bit. Here's Romelu Lukaku, about 25 yards from goal. Comes towards the edge of the area, and then he's tripped. Free kick to Everton. Jason Punchin the culprit. Again, Matthew's asked me another question. I will come back, Matthew, to that in a minute or two. I think you'll know what the answer's going to be. I think the channel name probably gives it away a little bit. But I will tell you in a moment, because we're going to have a free kick here for Everton in a very promising position. Barkley's over the ball. It's about 30 yards, 35 yards away from goal. It's to the left of centre. I think Barkley might float it in right-footed into that penalty area. I don't think it's feasible from that sort of angle for a shot. There are 3, however, in the Crystal Palace wall. Now, Barkley may surprise us all and go for the shot. Let's see what happens. Barkley runs up and floats it into that penalty area. Good header away by one of the Palace defenders. Now Coleman has it on the right-hand side. So it's to play 1-2 with Barry, and Coleman's continuing his run, got to the byline, and it's smuggled out, I think, by Martin Kelly. And is that a corner to Everton? It is. Ross Barkley racing over to the far side corner quadrant to take that. Confirmation that that foul from Punchin was a yellow card offence. It's just been confirmed now of a yellow card. So Oviedo in the book and Jason Punchin in the book. Just 2 of the players already yellow carded by referee Moss. Barkley takes a short corner, and it's the shot coming in. A good shot from about 30 yards out, and it was Seamus Coleman with the shot, but it's well wide of Mandanda's far post. Right, going back to Matthew's comment, what team do I support? Well, the name gives it away, JB Claret. My team wear claret and blue. No, it's not Aston Villa or West Ham United. It's Burnley, actually. It's Burnley, so that's why I've got Burnley content for FIFA 17 and 16 and 15 before that. And there's a lot of Burnley videos as well on there as well. And we are focusing on Burnley on Sunday afternoon. 4:20 we start, and Sean Dyche, in fact, is in the crowd. Everton are one of Burnley's future opponents in the next few weeks, and he's there at Goodison Park this evening taking in some Friday night football. 28 minutes gone, 0-0, and I think Burnley and Arsenal will be an umdinger. I've gone for 1-1. I'm backing my Clarets. I'm backing my beloved Clarets to maybe sneak a point from that game on Sunday afternoon. You have to support your local team, Matthew. And here come Palace now with Townsend. Townsend out to the far side, and here's a chance now for Ward. On to Sahar. Sahar now right hand side, faced by Oviedo, who has to go it back to Ward, and it'll come off the defender, which was cleverly, and it will be a corner. Coming up towards the last quarter of an hour of the first period then of the first match of the Premier League weekend. Another 5 tomorrow, plus another 4 on Sunday. One of which Burnley Arsenal will be our live commentary. And it's punching the ball just slightly on the corner quadrant as that ball swings in. It wasn't a particularly good corner, but Townsend keeps it alive on the far side. Townsend now to the byline. I think he's just run out of pitch, mind you, and it will be a goal kick for Everton. Crystal Palace in their history have never actually won a major trophy. The nearest they've come to winning a major trophy twice was the FA Cup in 1990 when obviously last season when they lost both to the same opposition on those occasions, Manchester United, and they lost after a replay in 1990. Alan Pardew actually played in that final, and they should have won it in that first game, and I think, and they were poor certainly in the replay then. Lee Martin, remember him scoring the winning goal. Now there's a player gone down on the deck there. It's a Crystal Palace player down on the deck, and I'm seeing who's involved there. Number 14 Guy, and it's number 27 on the ground, Damien Delaney. I think it was just basically a clash of eggs more than anything else, and I think Damien Delaney has just come off a little bit of the worst there. Just to remind everybody that from the 70th minute onwards, the JB man of the match vote will be swinging back into action again for another match. So, with 20 minutes to go, please get your votes in, and whoever gets the most votes gets the JB Man of the Match award. Meanwhile, Delaney having to go off the field on the far side. He will receive treatment, and John Moss will do a drop ball on the halfway line, and Benteke will sportingly give it back to Martin Stecklenburg, the Everton goalkeeper. 32 minutes gone almost. No goals, but I think it's been a decent watch. It's not been a diabolical 0-0. It's not been a bad 0-0. I think there's been lots of quality entertainment, lots of good skills, lots of drama. One or two good opportunities, but still no breakthrough. Here's Wilfried Zaha down the right hand side for Crystal Palace, faced by Oviedo, who's now got to watch his step, of course, because he's one of the two players on the yellow card, one from each side, punching obviously the other one from the Crystal Palace point of view. In fact, Palace have a corner. Came off Oviedo last, and it will be an opportunity for them to try and snatch the opening goal of this intriguing game. Delaney and Tompkins will both come forward from the back. Tompkins, of course, formerly of West Ham, Ball played in towards the 6-yard box. Stecklenburg came, it got nowhere near, but there was a bit of pushing and shoving going on inside that 6-yard box, and a free kick it is to Everton. Infringement by one of the Palace players there. Well, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think the referee, oh my God, I saw any pushing and shoving. I have to say, if anybody's listening and watching this game on the television, was there a free kick there? I can't see that being a free kick. Well, look into that if you will. Free kick taken quickly. Delaney with a back header, or a forward header I should say. Ball over the top now, looking for Wilfried Zaha down the near side, knocked away by Oviedo down Everton's left hand side. And here's Delaney now for Palace. Looks it in towards the centre of the field. Well intercepted, and then the referee almost got in the way there of the Everton man, which was Gué. Ball went forward by Lukaku. Brave header won there by, I think it might have been Barkley. In fact, the free kick has been given for Everton. I think it was a high foot in there, and I think Delaney's going to get himself. Is he going to get him the yellow card? No, he's just going for his shaving foam vanishing spray. But it was I tell you what, it's Jagielka who came off worse, not Barkley, as I initially thought. But I tell you what, Delaney had his foot up high. I think if it had been a different referee, I think he might have seen a yellow card for that. But we have a free kick in a very good position, and Jagielka stay forward for this one. Barkley, as you would expect, is over the free kick. It's just to the right of centre, about 20 yards from goal. To the right of centre. I tell you what, if he connects with Jagielka would have been in the walls, that's for sure. It was dangerously high. I'm surprised John Moss hasn't booked Delaney for that. But it's a free kick. Lukaku and Barkley over it. Will it be the left foot of Lukaku, or will it be the right foot of Barkley? Just having a little confab over there. Will it be the left foot of Lukaku? It is the left foot of Lukaku, and it's there! Beautiful free kick from Romelu Lukaku, and in the battle with the Belgian strikers, it's Lukaku 1, Benteke 0, and it's Everton 1, Crystal Palace 0. And what a marvellous free kick goal it was. Nonchalantly just strode up and just struck it beautifully with his left foot. Or with his right foot rather, and into the net it went. And I don't even think Mandanda ever moved. So like last week, Crystal Palace, if they're going to get anything out of this game, have to come from behind, and it's through that silly challenge from Delaney. His foot was definitely high. But a great moment there for Romelu Lukaku. Tremendous right-footed shot, and it was just a nonchalant, casual type of a run-up, and he just fired it in, and what a time to get it. 10 minutes to go to half-time, and Alan Pardew must be kicking himself. Well, and his team must be kicking himself. Romelu Lukaku. This was built up as the battle of the two big Belgian strikers. You have Benteke on the Palace side of things, and you've got Romelu Lukaku. Well, Romelu Lukaku has struck the first blow, and now the onus is on Benteke to try and respond in the grand manner and try and level it up, not just for himself, not just for this personal battle between these two Belgian centre forwards, but for the game as well, for his team. First and foremost, here's Oviedo now for Everton, 1-0 into the lead. And you've got to say, on the balance of play now the game's gone, I think Everton just about deserve to be winning. Lukaku is on side for a little flick there from Balassi. And here he is again, looking lean and mean and keen, and he's just dropped out to the walls, the left-hand touchline. He's trying to get past the defender there, which is Ward, and Ward did well. He tracked back with him all the way, and he manages to get the ball clear there. But here's a chance for Gueye, keeps it in, and here's a chance now for Oviedo to chip the ball in. And here's Lukaku, asking a lot of Seamus Coleman, I have to say. And Coleman, of course, naturally can't keep it in play. Well, Alan Pardew will be seething with Delaney here. It's a silly free kick. It's dangerously high. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'll tell you what, if it connects with Jagielka's head, that takes his head off. I'm surprised John Moss in all of that. I don't think he's taken strong enough action for me, but well, they've paid the ultimate price, Palace, by losing the goal. It's a daft free kick to concede. I don't know what my friend Kevin Benson would make of that, but I think Delaney should have thought twice, maybe just gone and try and win the second ball with a header, with an attempted header clearance rather than a high foot. I just think it was just brainless football from Delaney. And he had no need to do it either. Just brainless football. But it's Everton 1 up, and on balance they deserve to be so. Bitter night on Merseyside, I have to say. As the summer draws to a close, we're now just creeping into autumn now. Attempts at goal, 6 to Everton, 2 to Palace. And on target, 2 to Everton, none to Palace. And of course Everton have scored with one of the 2 shots on target. 39, just coming up towards 38.5 minutes gone. Everton 1 goal ahead. If you haven't been with us all night, you've just joined us. Romelu Lukaku struck in the 35th minute to give Everton a lead after a silly challenge from Delaney, a high foot there on Jagielka. I mean, it was just dangerous play. He didn't actually catch the player, but the intent was there, I felt. I know Alan Pardew, I'm sure, will disagree on that. I'm sure in the pre-match and the post-match interviews shortly after the game, but I thought it was a free kick. If you put your foot high, then you run the risk, in my opinion, of giving a free kick away. And I think Delaney should have tried to get in there and win a challenge, maybe with a header. But it's 1-0 to Everton, and you can't argue with the scoreline at the moment, the way the game's gone. Palace really haven't created too much. Here's Barkley into the area, but well defended there by Palace. It was Martin Kelly, the former Liverpool man, that came back and did some good defensive work down his left-hand side. Everton right-hand side as they attack. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 0. Seamus Coleman to take the Everton throw. First time these 2 teams are featured on our programme this season. And it might not be a lucky charm for Crystal Palace, our programme at the moment, losing by a goal to 0. But they are the away team. Remember, they came back from the dead last week at Sunderland when it looked down and out. Certainly with 10 minutes to go, 2 goals down, and really looking down and out, and then 3 late goals really decided it. And despite the comeback being an extraordinary comeback from Crystal Palace's high standards, it wasn't. Sunderland set a new low standard of poor defending really on those 3 goals. I've never seen slack marking like it all season so far from any team, and Sunderland really have set really bad standards defensively, and David Moyes, I'm sure, will have worked on that during the week. They've got a big game tomorrow afternoon. Nodded away, or hooked away there by Everton. Now Lukaku, or rather Balassi, sorry, takes the ball, and now Barkley receives it. Now Balassi, and look at the run being made by Cleverly on the near side. Balassi, a lovely little back flick there, trying to find Lukaku. That was a nice little piece of impotent skill. Here's Cleverly now, touched in towards Balassi, and then he gets it back again. Barkley now on the edge of the area, just drifted to the right, and what a good run there by Coleman near side, and comes off Kelly for a corner for Everton. Seamus Coleman makes these tremendous darts down the right hand flank. He really does. He cuts in from the right hand flank. Look at him there, making a good run, and in the end, if the delivery had been a little bit more better, then Everton could have been there for number 2. But they still might be from this corner to be taken far side by Ross Barkley. Right footed into the penalty area or goal. 2, 4, 5 in the penalty area for Everton. Up towards, I think Ashley Williams was one up in there, so too was Jagielka. In fact, both centre-backs went for it. Jagielka won the battle, but he didn't have the guile or the direction to trouble Mendanda or the Crystal Palace goal for that matter. Just seen a replay of the Lukaku. I just like the way he just strides up as if it's almost walking pace and absolutely just strokes it left-footed. It's caressed into the corner of the net. It's not struck, it's caressed. 2.5 minutes, to go of the first half, and of normal time that is, and I have to say, Everton do deserve it, but Palace are guilty of their own errors, I think, and believe it or not, and Delaney had no need to make that challenge. He had no need to put a high foot in my opinion. I'm sure one or two Crystal Palace fans will probably disagree. Here's Ward for Palace. They've been far from disgraced, Palace. I don't think they've played badly. It's just Everton have really dominated possession and dominated the better the chances. Here's Wilfried Zaha, who's every inch a threat, and Oviedo made a very good challenge. He had to, really, because remember, he's already on a yellow card, so he can't afford to make any more mistakes. Just 2 yellow cards so far. Oviedo being the Everton booking and punching the Palace booking. Going to some park with one of those tremendous atmospheric grounds. They make a huge amount of noise when it's full and all that, especially on Merseyside Derby Day. And Goodison Park is always very noisy, especially when they beat the neighbours from across Stanley Park as well. Won't be long before those rivalries between Everton and Liverpool are renewed for at least 2 games this season, unless they draw each other in the FA Cup, because Everton have already bowed out of the League Cup the other week, about a week and a half ago, to Norwich. I would have thought that would have been a competition that Koeman would probably have wanted to go out there and try and actually win. But it's not going to be their year again in the League Cup. That's the only domestic trophy they've never won. They've won the League Championship a few times. They've won the FA Cup about 4 or 5 times, and they've won the Charity Shield a good few times as well. But they've never actually won the League Cup. They've also only won one European trophy. That was the Cup Winners' Cup, of course, on that famous night in 1985 against Rapid Vienna. I'll even tell you the scorers. Graham Sharp, Andy Gray and Kevin Sheedy and Hans Krankel scored for Rapid Vienna that night. He was the doyen of Austrian football, Hans Krankel he was. Certainly of that Rapid Vienna side of the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And here is the class of Everton of 2016. I have to go somewhere to really top the class of 85. And they've got a free kick here, foul by Ledley on number 14, Yannick Bolasie. Having a good evening rather against his former employers. Joe Ledley, Welsh international, the big beard. In fact, it wasn't him, it was James Tompkins. They both got beards as well, so very, very confusable. Anyway, it's a free kick just to the left of centre, and it's going to be Ross Barkley rather behind this one. We're playing 1 out of a minute at the end of the first half. And that first 45 minutes or so has just zoomed by. Remember, at half time we'll take a 5-minute break, and then I will give my verdict on Sam Alladyce and the Daily Telegraph sting and what's led to him losing his job as England manager at half time. Meanwhile, we've got this free kick 30 seconds into the 1 minute. Left in right footed. It's a poor free kick really from Barkley, but there wasn't a brilliant clearance either, but I think the whistle has gone anyway. In fact, he's blown up a bit early there as referee John Moss, and I think he's seen enough of that first half. But a good first half, tremendous game so far. Palace will probably debate the free kick which led to the goal, but in my opinion, and I'm not saying this to be unfair to Crystal Palace, but I think Delaney was a bit daft really in the least, because he left his foot very high indeed, and he could have took Jagielka off, and I think Jagielka had to duck out of the way of his high foot because it was very high. It was definitely over head height so far. And also I'll bring you up to date with the Ryder Cup. Europe are 4-0 up at the moment on the first afternoon of the 2016 Ryder Cup. So anybody who might be interested, who listens into these streams and are a bit of a golf nut, Europe are 4-0 up in the Ryder Cup. So that's the situation, and the Romelu Lukaku with a tremendous free kick is dividing the two teams at half time. I'm going to go and take a 5-minute break, and after that break I'll give you my views on Sam Alladyce and what happened with him and how it all went wrong for him in his supposedly dream job as England manager. And of course the whole of the second half of Everton Crystal Palace. But as I leave you for 5 minutes, I'll leave you with the half-time scoreline of Everton 1, Crystal Palace 0. again, everybody. Welcome back to Goodison Park for the second half between Everton and Crystal Palace. Have just kicked off. Sorry we took a little bit longer than normal because I found the offer of a bar of Maltesers to a bar of chocolate more a bit too tempting, but I will give me thoughts on Sam Alladyce later on in the programme. Anyway, welcome back to you all. No changes from either side in the second half. We just had a minute or so gone. Everton, remember, winning by a goal to nil, scored by Romelu Lukaku after 35 minutes. Here's Kelly now for Palace on the near side. Knocks it into the penalty box once again. Palace now attacking the goal to our left, which is the Park Road end. Now named the Howard Kendall standards. Bolasie now goes on a run against his old club. Got tackle there. I think Bolasie might have clipped his man as well. Indeed he did, according to referee Jonathan Moss. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Let me run through the teams in case you missed it at the start. Everton line up with Stekelenburg in goal, Coleman, Jagielka, Williams and Oviedo are the back four. Gué, Barry, Cleverley, Barkley and Bolasie are the midfield five, with Romelu Lukaku, the goal scorer, up front. Crystal Palace, their lineup is as follows. Mandanda is in goal for them. A back four of Ward, Tompkins, Delaney and Kelly. MacArthur, Ledley, Townsend, Punchin, Sahara the midfield five, with Christian Benteke there, one up front. And the substitutes for Everton: Robles, Morales, Lennon, Valencia, Murray, Davis and Holgate. For Crystal Palace: Flamini, the former Arsenal man, Johan Gabay, Campbell, Hennessy, Lee Jung Jung, Fryers and Wickham. Yeah, it's a back four for Everton. They're playing a 4-2-3-1 a 4-2-3-1 formation. And Palace, they're playing also at 4 at the back. There they are. 4 at the back for Palace. They're also playing 2 holding midfielders, McCarthy obviously and Ledley, and 3 further forwards, Zaha, Punchin and Townsend, of course, the lone striker Benteke. So they're both playing 4-2-3-1. All these formations these days very complicated. What happened to good old 4-4-2 and 4-4-3? There we go. 3 kick to Everton. Infringement about 20 yards inside the Palace half, just to the left of the left hand side. To Everton attack. They're attacking, for the record, down the Gladys Street end, and if you'd like to comment throughout the second half, please do. Keep your comments clean and respectful. We had one particular individual, not Matthew, he's been very complimentary this evening, the Manchester City fan, and I hope he'll be back with us on Sunday afternoon for our next live offering, which is Burnley vs Arsenal. But if you'd like to comment tonight, keep your comments clean and respectable. We had one individual who was thrown off for that particular reason in the first half. I should also say most of the commenters and most of the people are regulars, regular listeners to the channel, and they're all very nice people and always have good comments to say. It's always the minority of 1 or 2 people who absolutely wreck it for the rest of us. And that's a header that's gone in at the far post, and it's Benteke, and it counted. It's 1-1. A crossing from the right hand side, and Benteke with a fantastic header. Stekelenburg never even moved. It was right into that right hand corner of the net, and Crystal Palace, with 4 minutes gone in the second half, lovely cross, and Benteke just onside, and the former Liverpool man has equalised, and it's game on at Goodison. Beautiful lifted ball in. He might have been Ledley with the cross, and it was just inch perfect, and he gets above Seamus Coleman, and he's a good 12 yards from goal, and how he gets his neck muscles to generate the power, God only knows, but it's a fantastic directed header right inside that far post, and into the net it goes, And it's Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1, as they try to get the game restarted. John Moss gets in the way of the kickoff. But it's 1-1 now, and it's, well, game on, I suppose, isn't it? 49 minutes, 33 seconds that equaliser was timed at. So we've got another goal here, and it's 1-1, and I have to say, well played Palace, and they've come out in the second half. Alan Pardew must have given them a good talking to at half time, because it's obviously had the desired effect. Palace, of course, won their last 3 in a row. They had 4-1 thumpings against Stoke, and that come back against Crystal Palace. But here at the other end, it's great inside the area. Still Mike 4 for Everton, and Everton almost back in front. It was during the case of Palace being vulnerable when they just scored a goal, and they relaxed for a moment, and Gueye couldn't finish it off. And here come Palace now. This game really starting to be lit to a blue touch paper. It's a good watch now, and we've 1 goal each now. It's a very evenly poised game. And here's Wilfried Zaha down the far side, trying to get Benteke in once again. Edge of the D, but he couldn't control it. What a second half this could well be now, and I'm excited and looking forward to this second half, because I'll tell you something, this is going to be a really good second half. You can bet your boots on that. I think it's been a remarkable game of football, playing in a tremendous spirit here. And 1-1, I've got to look at this header again. It's just a marvellous header, a lovely ball in from the left hand side, and how Benteke gets the neck muscles behind that one. It's just unbelievable. It just really is remarkable how he gets his neck muscles around that one, and he just nods it into the back of the net. It was just, you know, you have to stand and marvel in delight about that, even the most ardent of Everton fans would have to agree with me on that one. We've just lost the live stream for a moment or two. It's not easy when the stream breaks down and when you least expect it to, really. We'll try and get that back for you. We'll try and get a live stream back for you in just a second or two. But what we can tell you is it's 1-1, and we are back with you now. Well, we will be live in a second or two. Well, we're still waiting to see a little bit of action here. We've just broken down. The stream's broken down. Unfortunately, I can't regulate for things like this breaking down. It's just part and parcel of when you put your commentary in the hands of a stream, and the tragedy is it's become a very good game of football, and unfortunately it's frozen, so we can't bring you any commentary at the moment. So what I'll try and do is try and fill in the best I can now until we get some action back. I've got so much to fill, it's unbelievable here. The Alladyce situation, well, I'm going to give you my take on Sam Alladyce. And we've absolutely lost it, I'm afraid, folks. So we're having technical problems with the stream, so we'll have to make do with what we've got with for the moment or two. We will come back to the commentary soon as possible, but at the moment we've totally lost communication. So let's just go to the Sam Alladyce thing whilst we wait to get action back so we can describe to you. Hopefully there won't be a goal scored. But going back to the Sam Alladyce thing, I was going to say at half time, this is what I make of it. Sam Alladyce, he's waited for so many years to get into this job, the England job, and it's a real shame for him, really, because I think he would have made a terrific England manager, but he was foolish. He took a friend at face value. He was very foolish at the time. Obviously he's upset about the the stuff that's come out. The Daily Telegraph, I have to say, the journalists from the Telegraph were stupid enough to try this sort of stunt, but Alladyce knew he should have done it. And when you try and downgrade your own employers, the FA, like he did, it's just not acceptable. And I have to say, the FA dealt with it fantastically well. I've got to be honest with you. Martin Glenn and Greg Clark, the senior heads there at the FA. And it was the last thing the FA needed after the Roy Hodgson shambles at the Euros and one or two other bits and bats. We will get action back, I'm sure. Now we're just in the process of sorting a live match stream out for you. But it's as we left it at 1-1. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens once we get things back. But I think Alladyce knows himself. He's in the wrong. There's no two ways about that. I think he's come out, he's come in front of the press and he said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done what I did." That you have to report, but at the end of the day, he should not have done the deed, and that's what he did, and you can't. And unfortunately, you cannot excuse him for that, and it's tough. Anyway, we're back live with you now. We've played 56 minutes. It's still 1-1, so we are back now with commentary of Everton Palace. I'm sorry about that. It's just these technical problems. They always come back, don't they? And it's difficult as well. But we are back live, and it is always a tough old. But we are back now live. 1-1. Good game, but at least I've managed to get the Sam Alladyce issue sorted out and my opinions on it and that type of thing. And the Palace have a throw. We pick up the action again with a Palace throw. 1-1. Goals from both Belgium strikers. So it's 1-0 in the match, and it's 1-0 between the two Belgian strikers. So you could say it's Lukaku 1, Benteke 1. Williams concedes a throw to Palace, level with the penalty area. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about the loss of. Sorry about these technical problems. There always seems to be the odd gremlin, the odd glitch, trying to ruin my broadcast. But we always beat them, and I hope I filled the time in between losing the stream and getting the game back very admirably. Here's Lukaku at the other end now for Everton, the right hand end. Remember, just to remind you, 1-1. I don't think we've had any substitutions, but we are back live now with the action. And here's Lukaku again. 1-1 between Everton and Palace, but it was a really good game. And here's Cleverley now, just to the left of the right to the left of the penalty area. Infield it goes, and it's out to the far near side. And Seamus Coleman will try and take on his man down the right hand side, and Palace stick to him like glue. Here's Goay playing it in there, and then an overhead kick attempted there by Yannick Bolasie. That would have been some way to have scored an overhead kick against your old club, and unfortunately he got it he got it right, but he just didn't have the necessary direction. It was just to the left of the goal, and he tried to strike it about 7 or 8 yards out, but he couldn't direct it in. It went wide of the near post as the goalkeeper looked at it, and it went behind for a goal kick. And of course, after tonight's match, we'll give you a 10-minute Premier League preview of all the other games taking place. There's some tasty games tomorrow, of course, at the other end of the spectrum between with Sunderland involved, and they've got a tough old battle against Chelsea, of course, at the KC Stadium, as that ball is chipped in there towards the back post again with great conviction by Wilfried Zaha. Well, towards Wilfried Zaha. It was Andros Townsend, that man again, who was providing the ammunition. I tell you what, there's been a disallowed goal as well. So we have missed a disallowed goal. There was a push, I believe, on Williams by Delaney. So there was actually a disallowed goal when we were in between us losing the stream, but the goal hasn't stood. And I have to say, I'm quite relieved it wasn't given, because we've not actually missed a goal live yet in our commentary matches this season. It was McArthur who was denied, so he's come on, I think, as a... yeah, it's McArthur now has been denied a goal, so thank goodness that goal didn't stand. It remains 1-1. We played an hour. Palace have had a goal, possibly controversially and probably wrongly disallowed. They are the team now in the second half with the most in the ascendancy. Everton have been a bit sluggish second half, but here they are in possession again with Ross Barkley, 25 yards from goal, out towards the near side. Now, can they make something of it now as we come up towards the last half an hour? In 10 minutes' time, it will be time for you, the listeners, to choose your JB man of the match. Remember, the man who gets the most votes wins, and if no one votes or if it's deadlocked, I have the casting vote. But we want it to be one for your votes and your votes alone. I don't want to make that same decision like I had to do the other night with the Burnley-Watford game, where I decided on Stephen Defoe, though there was a vote quite rightly in favour of Jeff Henrik, who himself had a marvellous match as well. And we feature Burnley again on Sunday. Here's Lukaku, edge of the penalty area, goes down. Referee Moss isn't interested. No free kick. Here come Palace with the other Belgian, Benteke. Benteke has got Townsend to his left. And here come Palace now. They try to get Townsend in down the left. Townsend is absolutely berating that pass there. Might have been from McArthur because it got nowhere near towards him. I know it was intended for him, but here we go again with Balassi. End-to-end stuff this second half now. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Infringement there. John Moss is having plenty to do. And he's had to preside over a couple of controversial incidents. The free kick which led to the opening goal for Everton. I don't think it was a dive. I think the foot was genuinely high, and I think Jagielka was trying to get out the way, otherwise if he'd have kept on going he would have had his head more or less taken off by Damien Delaney. I'm surprised he didn't book him for that. And then there was the disallowed goal that we actually missed because we were off stream for a good four and a bit minutes, where I had to fill in with the Sam Alladyce thing, and that looks a controversial decision as well. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the goal headed in by... well, it didn't count from James McArthur. But it is 1-1, and at the moment, thankfully, we haven't, even though Palace will feel aggrieved by the decision, thankfully we haven't missed a live goal yet. That's counted. And Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1 is the score. A free kick again. Game just starting to go a bit scrappy in the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes or so. There was a foul by Balassi on Ward. I've just seen it from the reverse angle. It's certainly an obstruction, that's for sure. I think it's a free kick and just a ticking off, I think, from John Moss more than anything else. Remember, 70 minutes into the game, it'll be your chance to vote for your man in the match. And of course, and it's Romelu Lukaku's. In fact, the goal he got tonight was from a great direct free kick goal. And in fact, little statistic for you statistic buffs out there, that's his 65th Premier League goal in his career, whether it's been at Chelsea, West Bromwich Albion, or here at Goodison Park. And here's Balassi on the chase against Tompkins. I think both teams will be doing very well this season. I would expect Everton to do a lot better than they were last season. Lower mid-table for them last season, but they were playing that gun-haul attacking style, swashbuckling style under Martinez, which cost them really dearly at the back. John Stones' situation didn't help, and I think they look a lot better outfit now that Stones has left, and Ashley Williams looks a lot better fit at centre-back. And I think Stones was unsettled because he wanted to go to Manchester City. Martinez wanted to keep him. Koeman knew the situation when he took over. He knew he'd probably have to let 1 or 2 players go, and in John Stones, to get 50 million for him was good for Everton. And then when they have a corner here, Ross Barkley, another one of their prize assets to take. In towards the near post, and is that kicked off the line? It is. It was a little flick, I think, at the near post, and punching on the line, got it away. Barkley then sending this corner in. It was a good corner, and it was Gareth Barry with a little flick, and it was going in, and it was the knee of Jason punching on the far post, which got it away off the line. So Everton trying to get it into the back of the net. The Gladys Street fans in that Gladys Street end trying to suck the ball into the back of the Palace goal. Barkley with another corner from the right hand side. It's nodded out, and he'll get it opportunity now to maybe whip by his man, and he does so. Keeps his ball as well, gets to the byline, tries to pull it back, and it comes off a defender for another Everton corner. Now Everton, after a sluggish first 5 or 10 minutes, when they conceded the equaliser and could have conceded another goal, are now starting to take the ascendancy, and they have another corner. Barkley to take it. Third, I make it now in, 2.5 minutes. Under the floodlights. Goodison Park looks beautiful under the floodlights. Right footed into the penalty area from the right hand side. Header one, but it's wide of the target. I think it was by Phil Jagielka, yes, the Everton skipper, and a goal kick to Crystal Palace. This is the first of 2 live commentaries. The second one, of course, will be at Turf Moor again on Sunday afternoon, when Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, who are fresh from a 3-0 victory, and Andros Townsend, by the way, after he actually rugby tackled Barkley as he won that corner a minute or 2 ago, and the referee saw it as a foul, played an advantage, and as a result Townsend was booked. But going back to Burnley Arsenal, that will be an intriguing game. Both managers have great respect for each other, Wenger and Dyche. Wenger really praising the way Burnley are run as a football club and how prudent they have been, but they have been a little bit more gambling in the transfer market, shall we say, spending a lot more money than they did last time they were in the big league 2 years ago. Free kick to Crystal Palace, foul on Townsend, another yellow card. I think the yellow cards are now starting to top up, and it's against the experienced Gareth Barry, and that was a free kick that he had to concede, really, because Townsend was bearing down on that edge of the Everton penalty area like a praying mantis he was. So a free kick then, 22 minutes to go. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1 in the Premier League. I nearly said Barclays Premier League. They don't sponsor the league anymore. When you said Barclays Premier League for so many years, it's hard to get out of the habit. Free kick, Townsend, and punching over the free kick. I think it's going to be Townsend to take it with his left foot. Remember, it's just to the left of centre. Almost identical position when Lukaku scored in the first half. Wouldn't this be a real turn-up if Townsend was to hit one from here? Townsend with his left foot, and this time he hits the wall. Comes to Townsend again. Has to turn away from Barkley. Turns away from Lukaku, and he goes down again and still gets up. No free kick given. Mr. Moss, I had a good look at him for a good couple of seconds, and he didn't look in any mood to give Townsend the benefit of the doubt. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Good game here at Goodison Park. 20 minutes for one of these two teams to get themselves a winning goal and take 3 crucial points. Everton unbeaten before they lost to Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium last week, and there was an appeal for a foul there, for a foot up, I think it might have been by number 17 Benteke on Gai, but referee wasn't happy, was happy enough with the challenge, to the dismay of a lot of the vast majority of the 38,000 or so fans inside Goodison Park. There's a good couple of thousand who have made the long trip up from London for this game tonight. These Friday night games, I mean, they're an experiment. I'm not sure if it's going to be good for supporters. The Monday night games are just as tedious, I have to say, because I mean, if you're a team based in the north and you have to travel south for a Monday night game, you have to take days off work and all that type of thing. Swansea-Liverpool could be another classic tomorrow. They kick off early doors at 12:30. And one of the big 3 o'clock games, Hull against Chelsea. Hull really having a bad run at the moment after a promising start. 2 wins from their first 2 against Leicester, against Swansea. Suddenly been brought back down to earth. Mike Phelan has been offered a contract to manage the club at the kickoff Stadium, as it's called now, but he hasn't, as far as I'm aware, taken the whole job or said yes to the contract. Free kick to Crystal Palace, just under 20 minutes to go, and you're now in the zone. You're now in that time zone where you can now vote for your JB man of the match. Remember, all nominations in between 70 minutes and 90 minutes, please. And I'll announce the winner. If there's no nominations or we can't find a clear winner before 90 minutes of a player of the match, then I have to have the casting votes. So make your choices, folks. You've got 20 minutes, or you're just under 20 minutes now. Free kick to Crystal Palace, promising position. Right hand side, and it's chipped in towards the 6-yard area, well, by the penalty spot area. It comes to Townsend, who chips it in from the left hand side towards this 6-yard box, and Stecklenburg had to take everything out, plus a Palace player in the process. It was Big Joe Ledley, with the man with the big beard. His beard got bigger and bigger as the Euros went on earlier on in the summer. Fair punch away by Stecklenburg. He had to go and clean everything out to get to the ball, and he was well within his rights to. Palace with a throw, almost level with the 6-yard box of Everton. 5 yards from the corner quadrant on the far side. Remember, Liverpool, Palace are taking the goal to our left in this second half, and it's another corner. We've had plenty of those in the game. Let's check the match stats for you at the moment. We've had something like I think this is the 15th corner of the entire contest now we've had in the game, and this omnipotent thing at the moment. Remember, if Everton were to win tonight, they would temporarily go second, but at the moment it's Palace in the ascendancy, and they're attacking now the Everton area. It's Townsend now, deep inside the box. He'll win a corner there off the Everton man, Seamus Coleman. Just bursting down the left hand end of the penalty area, Townsend. He's looked a real live wire in his second half, and he's really put in some very good balls. Here's another one who can take a good set piece. That's Jason Punchin with the corner, left footed into the penalty area it goes. Everyone jumps for it. 3 Everton players jumping for the same ball, and in the end they between them got it away, and Everton get a throw 10 yards from the halfway line inside their own half, and it's taken quickly, and maybe that was not the best thing to do. They took it probably a bit too quickly for everybody there, and in the end they just basically senselessly given possession back to Crystal Palace. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Coming up towards the last 15 minutes of play here at Goodison Park. And here's Townsend again, left hand side. He's got Kelly on the overlap if he chooses to. He cuts inside, gets the cross in, headed away by Jagielka. But Palace now really going for it. They spent most of the first half on the back foot, but the second half they've certainly been on the front foot. And Townsend switches another decent crossing again. Sahar has it on the far side. Sahar cuts inside, gets his shot in. It hit the defender. It'll be another corner. I make that the 17th corner of the entire game. Palace now really going for the cutthroat now in this inside these last 20 minutes. Coming up towards a quarter of an hour to go. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Remember, if Everton were to win, they would go second. Palace have won their last 3. Another win here would make it 4. Remember, they didn't, up until that point, they hadn't only won, I think, 2 or maybe 3 games in the entire calendar year in the league, if you exclude FA Cup ties. Here comes the corner into the Everton penalty area. It'll come out to the edge of the area where it was struck fiercely. It's another corner. It was Ward who had the shot. It got a deflection. It's another Palace corner. They're having plenty of those now. I make that the 18th corner, but in total I don't know where it got a deflection from, but the referees certainly spotted it. Myself and the television cameras didn't, or possibly didn't, and it's a corner. Puncher to take it. Inside the last quarter of an hour. Palace looking for this second goal. And if they can get it and hang on, they'll win 4 in a row. And here's Wall with a header back in. And there's no offside. And what a chance inside the 6-yard box. And it was... I think it was... James Tompkins, I think. Yes, it was Tompkins. On his own, 6 yards out. And he couldn't nod it past Declan Meg. Just didn't lack it just lacked the conviction, the attempted header. Everton on the rack here. Palace really giving them a real scare here. And they had the better of the second half. It's been a game of 2 halves really. Everton have been better in the first half and Palace have been good in the second half. First Everton change of the evening. And it's going to be Ross Barkley, who's been a little bit quiet, I think, in a lot of respects in the second half. He's going to come off and be replaced by Kevin Mirallas. And I think that's what Everton need more than anything else. Just to keep you on the yellow card situation, Everton have got 2 players in the book, Oviedo and Barry. And Palace have got 4 in the book, namely Tompkins, Townsend, Punchin, and in fact Christian Benteke was also booked as well. Here come Everton now on the break, and here's Seamus Coleman just to the right of the penalty area. Tries to get a first time ball in. Good block again this time by Kelly. And Kelly can bring it away. Little back heel there. And he finds Townsend. Townsend now down the left-hand side. Was he bundled over by Gouet? I think he might have been. Referee Moss right on the spot, and I think he's going to get a booking here. The Everton man. Referee Moss calling him over here. I'd stay tuned if I was you folks, because this is going to be an exciting last 13 minutes for stoppage time. I would have to say 1 goal here would clinch it. Don't forget, man of the match. If you want to vote for that, leave a vote in the comment section. Put the name in the comments. Just the name will do. You don't have to give reasons for why. If you just choose the name of who you think should be man of the match. If there's no decision, then I will have to have the casting vote. And my goodness, it's a very tough act to have. James McCarthy's about to make way, and Johan Cabaye will come on, formerly of Newcastle of course, played under Pardew at Newcastle when Pardew was the manager up there at St James's Park. Where can most Newcastle fans now, I bet they wish they had kept hold of Alan Pardew, because I know for sure he would have kept them up. And they had a bad 18 months since letting him go. They held it together just under John Carbo, not very well. And last season was a complete disaster for 3/4 of it through Steve McLaren. And here's Townsend, signed from Newcastle, with the free kick from the left-hand side. It was headed away, and Punchin takes it now. Midway inside Everton half. Everton bringing probably everybody back now behind the ball here as Palace look for the kill. Look to try and get this second goal. And they're really having a go here. Shot coming in from about 35 yards. It was a bit speculative, and I think it was the former West Ham man James Tompkins with the attempted effort. This has gone wide. So 1-1, but Palace have had the better of things in the second half. If Everton had the better of things in the first, I would have to say that Palace have had the better in the second half. Let's look at the match stats at the moment as we go into the last 10 minutes. Everton have had 54% possession of Palace's 46. We've had 12 shots at goal to Palace. Everton have had 12 shots at goal to Palace's 9. There's been 3 shots on goal and target for Everton to Palace's 2. There's a free kick to Everton, by the way. Corners 9 apiece, so 18 corners in total. And we've had a grand total of 23 fouls, 13 fouls to Everton and 10 for Crystal Palace. I'll keep you up to date on the statistics. Here's the free kick to Everton. 10 yards, well, midway in fact, inside the Palace half. Just to the right hand side here. It's going to be whipped in right-footed by Morales, the substitute, into towards the 6-yard box. Again, good defence there by Christian Benteke. Jordan Edwards comments. Benteke Liverpool. I'm not going to mention the last bit because there's a swear word in. Please, Jordan Edwards, don't swear. Don't even try and swear. Anyway, meanwhile, we've got a substitution. Ramiro Funes Mori, who was a centre-back. He's going to replace Oviedo, who's, remember, on a yellow card. I don't know whether Jordan was signalling out Benteke, for man of the match or not. I'm not sure. Let me know if it is the case. Here come Everton trying to win in themselves, and it was Seamus Coleman bursting through the centre of the penalty area, and he just couldn't finish it off. It means for the win. Well, we've got there in the end. Thank you, Jordan. At least it wasn't a swear word, as we just see a replay of Seamus Coleman missing a great opportunity there for Everton. I think it's going to end 1-1 at the moment. There's still 9 minutes to go, and I think it's going to swing to and fro. The next goal, I think it's a question of the old adage. If you play football as a little kid, and you were playing say next goal wins, I think we're into that sort of territory now where I think the next goal could win the game. And if there is to be a next goal that wins it, I wouldn't like to say who it was, but certainly Crystal Palace have been the better team. You're listening to audio commentary of the first Premier League match of the weekend. We have commentary of the final Premier League match of the weekend, where Burnley take on Arsenal. A 4:30 kickoff. We're on the air at 4:20 that Sunday afternoon. Benteke, man of the match. He's had a good second half, so Benteke gets the vote so far. Here he is now trying to nod the ball down towards Townsend on the edge of the penalty area. Here he is again, Townsend. He's had a good second half, I have to say. Townsend, he's been here, there and everywhere. If you think Andros Townsend should be man of the match, and you think he's been one of your favourites in the second half, please let me know in the comment section. You've got about 9 minutes. But at the moment, it's Benteke getting the JB man of the match award. And I might not be needed to make the casting decision, like we did at Turf Moor the other night, where we had to decide between two, Stephen Defoe and Jeff Henrik. Jeff Henrik, of course, scored the opening goal, but I gave it to Defoe because he was all-round industry and work rate, as well as his 2 pinpoint crosses for both goals for Henrik and Keane was superb, and I gave it on that basis, not just because of the goals they got, not just because to get man of the match you have to do just more than just score goals. Well, Benteke's worked very hard, I have to say, so he could be a worthy man of the match candidate. Everton fans, by the same token, would you like Lukaku to be man of the match? Let me know in the comments section to the right hand side. Please keep your comments clean. 1-1, 7 minutes to go. We'll announce the man of the match at 90 minutes. Here is Gay. Remember, both teams have made a sub each. 2 subs each. 2 subs for Everton, 1 for Crystal Palace, remember. Morales and Moire on for Everton. Cabayon for Palace. And here come Crystal Palace. Looking to break, and it's up towards Benteke. Looking very lively indeed, I have to say. Benteke. Well, he was on his own, and there wasn't much supporting. He can only hold it up as much as he could. Jordan says he's training with Burnley scouts in December. Well, Burnley on the back of a very good win against Watford. We feature them again in commentary on Sunday afternoon. Arsene Wenger's Arsenal are in town. Look at the second half possession stats now. 50-50, nothing to separate them at all. Everton had the better of the first half. In my opinion, Palace have had the better of the second half. It's all now on these last 6 minutes plus any time added on. I think we could have at least 4 of that, so possibly in total 8 minutes. Ball played in there by number 14, Balassi, who's who's done tremendously well against his old team. He's probably one of the contenders for man of the match. Steve Mandanda who's arguably has not had much to do. He's been practically redundant virtually in the second half. Well, he's got 2 substitutes, Pardew left. Koeman has the 1 left. But it's been even Stevens, but it's been an absolute entertaining game. And what a way to kick off the weekend's footy than a tremendous swashbuckling game of football between 2 sides who have really given a good show. It's not been a boring game, and if it was to end 1-1, then I think everybody, Burnley, wait a moment, here's Coleman, can Everton win it? Good boy towards the area, again, the header came in I think from Tompkins, and it runs out for a goal kick. Jordan says, how did Burnley beat us 2-0? So embarrassing. I wouldn't be embarrassed about it. You did have chances in the game. It just wasn't your day, and it happens in football sometimes. I mean, you might beat us 2-0, and I think you'll probably beat us at Anfield later on in the season. But the 2 goals we got were terrific goals. They were brilliant goals, and they were just top quality goals. There was nothing that you could do about them, and it was just one of those games. Remember, you're not the first team to come to Turf Moor and come a cropper. Remember Manchester United in 2009? We beat them 1-0. And of course we've beaten Arsenal and we've beaten Chelsea before in the Cups, and we came so close to knocking Spurs out on that thrilling night in that Capital One semi-final many years ago. And of course Manchester City came to Turf Moor 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now, and lost by a goal to 0 as the ball was played in towards Lukaku. So you're not the first team to be embarrassed at Turf Moor, and you certainly won't be the last big team. And as the ball comes in, it's straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. And he asked me on my opinions on Minglet. I do think he's a good goalkeeper. I'm not sure if he's a Liverpool type goalkeeper. I think this new lad that Liverpool have brought in, I think he could be number 1 now. I think Mignolet, he's had 3 seasons. He's made some pretty high-profile rickets, but I think he's a good backup keeper. But I don't think he's a number 1. Not for a club like Liverpool, who should be. I don't think you probably. I think you need to. I think you haven't really replaced Pepe Reina. I think he was one of your better goalkeepers. That I will say. Yellow card, by the way, comes out for Yannick Bolasie for a tackle there on Joel Ward. It's good to see Jordan Edwards getting involved. He's a Liverpool fan, but he's a very level-minded Liverpool fan, and you know, we like level-headed people like Jordan. And please, if you haven't subscribed, Jordan, and you'd like to hear more commentaries, we will try to feature Liverpool in future weeks as well. We've picked our 2 Premier League commentaries for this week anyway, but we will feature Liverpool in the future. And if you'd like to leave a like or subscribe, you're more than welcome to do so. It's we don't want to just make it exclusively to everybody. We want to make it open to everybody. It's Jackie's messaging saying yo, and good evening to you. You've got if you want to change the man of the match vote, my friend, you've got about 2 minutes plus. You've got less than 2 minutes now. In fact, you've got about a minute. But at the moment it's Benteke getting the vote for JB's man of the match. 1-1. Karius. Karius, I think his name is. Yeah, Karius. Yeah, he's a good goalkeeper. I think Klopp was impressed with Karius when he was manager at Dortmund. I think I've forgotten who he was playing for, but he was very impressed with him, and he will subscribe to me. So yeah, it will be terrific, and we will try and feature a few Liverpool commentaries for you, Jordan, and I'm sure we'll feature some of the bigger Liverpool games. And we did feature Liverpool against. As we just break off for a second, is Lukaku breaking into the penalty area. And the ball played into the area, and that'll deflect, and that has gone for a corner. Tompkins didn't quite keep it in play, so we'll see a corner for Everton. We can announce now that Benteke has got man of the match. and 4 added minutes. So Benteke has won JB's man in the match. So Christian Benteke, a worthy winner, as this corner comes in. We're into 4 added minutes, and Morales will get another goal in towards the near post this time. Jagielka was right in there. 4 minutes left, and who will win it, or will it end a draw? If there is to be a next goal, it's going to be the winning goal. You would say. Poor ball, one ball forward from Seamus Coleman, having done the hard part, having got away from the Palace board. I tell you what, if he'd have lost it there on the halfway line, then it could have been a disaster for Ronald Koeman's men. So we're now 1 minute of the 4 of added on by the 4th official gone. Some controversial incidents. Should Palace have had a goal given when it was disallowed? Everton got a free kick for a high foot from Delaney when it was high, but there was no contact, but it was deemed dangerous enough by John Moss. I'm sure the debate will rumble on. We'll read the comments at full time. We're just going to try and see out stoppage time. In fact, there is a break in play. Tom Cleary, I think, has got the television man in the match. Or has he? No, it's Christian Benteke has actually been given the television man in the match as well. So Benteke has actually won the television man in the match award. So there we go. We're still into time added on at the end of this second half. Meanwhile, we've got a substitution. Chung Yong Lee comes on to replace the excellent Andros Townsend. So Benteke, in fact, has won not just the JB Man in the Match award, he's won the actual televised Man in the Match award. Whilst that substitution is taking place, we'll have another quick look at Jordan Edwards. He says Liverpool, he thinks, if they cut out the silly mistakes and strengthen the defence, there will be an amazing team. Well, at the moment, they, apart from that Burnley blip, I think they've been in a revelation. I think Jordan, I think they'll get the top 4. If not win, I think they'll have a tilt at the title. I think they'll get a tilt at the title. I do think they're worthy. I mean, the only team that's unstoppable at the moment is Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. But they're obviously but without Kevin De Bruyne, it could be a much easier proposition. But here come Everton now. We're now into the last minute of 4. Is there going to be a winning goal in the last few moments? Jordan said he was right. I think he was right about the Benteke being the man in the match award, and I have to say he probably is right. 1-1 it is, but what a great match it's been. Free kick given away by Cleverly, just short of halfway line. Still inside the Palace half of the field, about 2 yards from halfway. Yellow card, referee trying to administer the letter of the law. There's a foul on Wolf Sahar by Tom Cleverly. He's the latest that's got in the book. I don't know how many yellow cards we've had up until now. I'm starting to lose quite a count. So let's have a look. So I think there's been about 5. We've had 9 bookies in this game, and we've had everything in it. Goals, and there's another player gone down. I think both teams will be counting the cost of their bruises at the end. We've played 4 minutes now. It's on to Jonathan Moss's discretion. Last attack now coming in from Everton, and it looks as if it's going to end 1-1 here. Here's Seamus Coleman, right hand side I should say. Ball goes out to play, and there we are. Both managers shake hands. It's ended 1-1. So Palace's unbeaten run actually now goes to 4 games. Their 3-match unbeaten run comes to an end, but they're now unbeaten in 4. Everton draw here. Their unbeaten record certainly at Goodison Park goes on, but they were made to work hard for that point because Palace really threw everything at it in the second half. Lukaku had put Everton in front with a superb free kick with the left foot, but in the second half a superb pinpoint header by the man of the match, Christian Benteke, made it 1-1. And then Palace really threw everything at Everton in the closing stages, but just couldn't break Everton down. Everton had a little goal themselves towards the end, But I think, all things considering, Everton dominated the first half. Palace certainly dominated the second half. And when you look at it and dissect it and look at it all in the cold light of day, I think a point apiece is about right. As the teams now walk off at Goodison Park. So this is the table now. Everton, in fact, move up to third. They're on 14 points. City lead the way with 18 points, 4 points ahead of Spurs and Everton. Remember, Everton now have played a game more. Palace have got up to 7th, doing really well at the moment under Alan Pardew. I've got a point above Chelsea, but again, the rest of them have got games in hand. Some big games coming up as well tomorrow as well. Jordan says, you're a good commentator, the Prem should sign you. Oh, that's brilliant. It's great when we get comments like that, and I do it not just for me. I'm very keen. I do this as a hobby mainly. If I could get a paid job doing it, whether for local radio or for BBC or whatever, that'd be even better. But at the moment I'm doing it as a hobby. I mean, you should set up a campaign, JB, to go to the BBC. I'd soon sort out those lads on Match of the Day out, I'm sure. And remember, Jordan, if you're a FIFA 17 fan and you like a little bit of Burnley as well, I know you're a Liverpool fan, but you like a little bit of Burnley as well, I've got a career mode going on FIFA 17. So if you're a FIFA fan, I've got good content, and you might enjoy the first episode because Liverpool are involved, and they had, and I should say, your new signing over the summer, Mane, was superb in that second game. I sign you, and yes, we should. You start the campaign going, Jordan, and I'll just sit back and let offers roll in. You start the campaign. Start a Facebook page, whatever. I do have a Facebook page if you want to join that. It's called John Stuttard, sports commentator, and I'm also on Twitter. For anyone who's listening, I'm at Stutzy83. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, please do. Well, thank you very much for listening. Right, we're going to just preview the games for the weekend now, because now this game's over with, we need not talk more about that. We're going to talk, first of all, the early kick-off, Swansea against Liverpool, and I'm going to do predictions now for the game and for the games coming up. And I'm going to start with the early kick-off tomorrow afternoon. That's the game between Swansea City and Liverpool. And Jordan says, I do love FIFA 17, and my granddad supports Burnley, and so I like Burnley and will do. Yep, you'll enjoy it, I'm telling you. And I'm playing it on professional. I'm being brave this year and playing it on professional, so I'm being very, very brave. I'm going to do my predictor now, so no, that's not. Yeah, here we go. Premier League predictor. So I went for 1-1. I went for 3-2 to Everton tonight. Unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition. Now, Swansea Liverpool tomorrow. This is the early game at the Liberty Stadium. I'm going to give a quick prediction and reasons for why. I've gone for 4-1 to Liverpool tomorrow. I think Liverpool are in fantastic form. I think, apart from Manchester City aside, I think Liverpool have been the form team of the Premier League. The way they demolished Hull was superb. It could have been a cricket score last week at Anfield when Hull were in town. It should have been 8-9. Despite Hull going down to 10 men, it should have been 8-9, 1 to Liverpool. It really should. Swansea, Francesco Guidolin, I fear for him. You know, since they won at Burnley on opening day, they haven't really got going. Yes, they had that 2-2 draw with Chelsea, but I've got my doubts about that, I'll have to say. So I would probably say 4-1 to Liverpool is probably about right. I think a Liverpool win, I think, would be about right. Now the 3 o'clockers, starting at the kickoff Stadium between Hull and Chelsea. And I mean, Hull had a great start to the season, won the first 2 games against the champions Leicester, and of course they were up against Swansea the next week and won 2-0. But their season is collapsing. Mike Phelan, he's in 2 minds whether to sign to take over as permanent manager. There's a contract on the table from the club's owners. There's all this ownership issue at the moment. Supporters are still up in arms about it. I'm going to say 3-0 to Chelsea, and I think they'll get their season back on track there after having a terrible performance at Arsenal last Saturday. Up to the North East next for our next prediction. Sunderland, who have yet to win so far this season against West Brom, have just picked up a little bit under Tony Pulis. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Sunderland will score. If it wasn't for Jermaine Defoe, Sunderland would be probably halfway to being doomed by now. West Brom starting to get their act together, absolutely outclassed West Ham 4-2. I think West Brom will get a point out of that. I'm going to go 1-1, but again I think it might be another afternoon of struggles for Sunderland. Down to Hertfordshire for our next match, for the penultimate game of the 3 o'clockers, and it's Watford against Bournemouth. Watford and Bournemouth, two sides that came up together a couple of years ago, done really well. Watford on the back of that terrible loss at Burnley. They were always second best at I don't think they fancied it on a Monday night, and if anything they should have offered the 2,500 Watford fans their money back, because they're £20 each back, because they didn't really put up a performance. Even Troy Deeney after the game admitted that they were bullied by Burnley, but they'll have to be a lot more stronger against Bournemouth, whose season has really lifted off big time with that surprise victory at home to Everton last week. I think it'll end 1-1. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to go 1-1. I can't separate these two teams. West Ham Middlesbrough. Now West Ham, I mean last season they were superb. Now they've moved into the stadium, and there's been a lot of what you call a toxic atmosphere at the club. West Ham, they've only won one game. That was 1-0 against Bournemouth. Antonio's probably been one of their shining lights so far this season. Now Middlesbrough, they had a decent start, but they've lost a few games since then. They've been in a few games. They led at Everton before losing. They lost a close game 2-1 to Spurs, but they can't afford to lose any more games. But I've got a feeling they might come up short tomorrow. I mean, Karanka's got a good team there, but I just think West Ham, there's got to be. I think there's got to be something somewhere that West Ham have got to actually turn up. Apparently, they've been out to a restaurant this week for a team bonding session. So Simon Billet says, and I think West Ham might just nick this one 2-1. I think it's going to be close though. I think Middlesbrough run them close, but I think West Ham will get their season back on track tomorrow. Right, the Sunday games. Manchester United against Stoke City. Now, I fear for Stoke going up to Old Trafford. They haven't won a game yet. They haven't had much luck with referee decisions, admittedly, especially against Spurs, and they were hopelessly outclassed at Crystal Palace. Manchester United, as everyone knows, haven't been at their most convincing best. They were poor last night in their European match, and it needed a lucky goal from Zlatan Ibrahimovic to get them over the line in that Europa League game. There's been a lot made of this issue from Jose Mourinho. He doesn't want us to be in the Europa League, and I don't think he wants to take it that seriously. But if you're in the competition, just win it. Try and win it. Doesn't matter whether it's Europa League or the Champions League. Try and win it. I'm going to go for Manchester United to win 3-0. I think the likes of Zlatan and Pogba now that he's started scoring again, I think they might be too much for Stoke. They're a good side, Stoke, but I just can't see them getting anything on Sunday at Old Trafford. Leicester City against Southampton. The champions had a bad defeat at Old Trafford last week. Not like them to ship 4 in, but they've missed Kasper Schmeichel. They bounced back with a morale-boosting victory in the Champions League against Porto. They had one or two airy moments in that match as well, but I would expect them to beat Southampton. Southampton have picked up a little bit under Claude Puel after a shaky start. They've had a long trip over to Israel to face Apple Beersheva in the Europa League on yesterday, so they'll be suffering from jet lag. Not that I'm trying to use that as an excuse, but I think the extra day's rest for Leicester, plus the fact that we're at home against Porto, might work in their favour. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Leicester win based on those particular reasons. Then one of the marquee games of the weekend, Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City. Now, I think this will be a lot tighter than a lot of people may have suggested, considering Manchester City had a tough old night up at Celtic Park the other night against Celtic, who actually did themselves proud. I think they led 3 times and Man City came back, and they could have won it 4-3 actually in the end, Manchester City. I'm going to go for them to win 3-2, but I would expect Spurs to come out firing. They're missing obviously Harry Kane, but Janssen, I think he's got to grasp this opportunity with both hands, grasp the nettle and really run with it and see what comes of it. I'm going to go 3-2 Manchester City, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3-2 the other way to Tottenham as well. But there you go. But I think it'll be a very close game. I think there'll be plenty of goals in that one. And finally, my club Burnley against Arsenal. I'm going for 1-1, simply because I don't think Arsenal will enjoy going to Turf Moor. I don't think many of the bigger teams will enjoy going to Turf Moor, but considering, especially if you go to a midweek game there, like Watford, they didn't fancy it the other night, and we absolutely oppositely outclassed them 2-0. I think Burnley are capable of scoring. We're missing Andre Gray because of his 4-match ban for the homophobic comments and all that sort of stuff. But we looked a better side with that fiery midfield with Sam Vokes up top, and I think we got a lot more joy on Monday when Vokesy was on. Jordan's actually going for a 2-1 Burnley win, so he's got more confidence than I have. I think Arsenal will score because the way Arsenal played against Chelsea last Saturday night was a joy to behold. They destroyed Chelsea, but I think Burnley look a little bit more stronger defensively. They don't have the likes of David Luiz bombing forward every 5 minutes and leaving gaps at the back. Ben Mee and Michael Keane strong as an ox as a pair in the centre back positions. Stephen Defoe, I've been very, very impressed with him since he's come. In my opinion, bargain signing of the summer. Forget Paul Pogba and all that mumbo jumbo. The best value for money signing so far is Stephen Defoe. £7.5 million, and the quality he's putting in at the moment, he's giving it 100% in each and every game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Burnley got a point from that game, and it would be like a bonus point, because our cup finals are against the teams around us. Your Watfords, your Bournemouths, your West Broms, your Sunderlands, your Middlesbroughs, and your Hulls, and them type of games. Those are the games we should be winning. That little mini league at the bottom, 17th or above, that's where we need to finish with as many points as we can. 40 or more would be preferable. But I've seen teams in the last couple of years stay up on 36, 37 points. So it wouldn't be beyond the bounds of the possibility. Carusi's worth 4.7 million. Yeah, it could well be a good buy for you, actually, Jordan. It could. Anyway, these are my predictions for the weekend. Jordan has actually praised me. He said he says he's entertained. 5-star commentary. Well, we aim to please Jordan. He says Manchester United. I think he said something about Manchester there, but he's gone for a 2-1 Burnley win. And he obviously says that Karius is a steal at 4.75 million for a goalkeeper. I think he's about a good price for a goalkeeper. I think he will be a steal. But as far as outfield is concerned, I think the bargain of the season at the moment has to be Stephen Defoe. I mean, I'm not talking because I'm talking purely objectively, not just because I'm a Burnley fan. But outfield-wise, I think he's a real steal for £7.5 million. You don't get many quality central midfielders. I mean, he had a bit about him because Alex Ferguson was all for signing him a few years ago when he was manager at Manchester United. So he must have something about him if Ferguson was interested. Anyway, that's it from me, JB, tonight. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I'm sorry about the technical itch with the live stream as well. Wijnaldum, of course, he makes a good point about Wijnaldum. I think he's been a very good buy for you, and I think Manny's been a good buy as well, Jordan. Anyway, yeah, very good. Yeah, for the prices you pay for them, considering that Pogba cost him £80 million and he's taken him 5 weeks to find his feet, about 3 or 4 months to find his feet, and in the two you've got, I think you've got a very good manager there. I think you've got the best manager you've had probably since Rafa Benitez, Jordan. And I'm really enjoying the football that Liverpool are playing. And I wouldn't be surprised in the least if I would see a match with winning something and maybe getting. I think they could win one of the cups this year. I think they could win the League Cup and actually get into the top 4. And that's my prediction for Liverpool. And they might even go for the league yet. It depends on how Manchester City go, because they've lost De Bruyne now for a few weeks. So without De Bruyne, they're not as clear cut as everyone's making out to be. I think De Bruyne is always the difference for Manchester City. So if De Bruyne is out for some considerable time, people like Klopp and Guardiola, Klopp and Mourinho and Wenger will be thinking, well, we could do it. Anyway, he says thanks for an amazing stream. Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Thank you for leaving a like, by the way, and subscribing, Jordan. It's good to know that there's some good people out there. Thank you very much for listening. There'll be more FIFA content. I'm in the middle of editing, and if we can get 100 likes on the FIFA stream, more than 50 likes on this second episode of FIFA video, what I'm going to do is a behind the scenes footage and how these FIFA videos are put together, because it takes a lot of editing and a lot of commentating to put all those together, and I do it all by myself with my PS4 on my desktop computer. And I'll show you a video, and you'll see my mug on a few of the videos as well, and vice versa. Next commentary on this YouTube channel from the Premier League, Sunday afternoon. I'm sure you don't need reminding now. Burnley versus Arsenal. I'll be on the air around about 4:20 on Sunday, late Sunday afternoon. The kick-off for that match at 4:30, and before the start, I'll bring you up to date with the Manchester United, Leicester and Tottenham Manchester City clashes. Well, thank you very much for listening for tonight. It's ended on us even at Goodison Park. A terrific game to start the Premier League campaign. We'll see you for live commentary on Sunday. Until then, see you later. I will keep uploading on FIFA content when I get the chance. But from me, JB, I will see you for another commentary, the Burnley Arsenal game on Sunday. Thank you. Take care. From me, JB, a very good night to you all.